World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
So, good evening and welcome to the Bold Show with me, your host, Marie Dunn. Are you brave enough to be naked? Are you confident enough to live in a duality of your past self and your current self? Are you willing to kill who you were yesterday in order to become the best version of who you want to be and who you deserve to be? Do you understand that transformation and growth cannot exist in convenience? I am here to have those difficult conversations and to help you understand that we are all entitled to our past, but we are not our past. And we should not hold ourselves hostage because we are strong enough and we have the tools deep within us if we take the time to explore that. I am here to allow you to recognize that you could be empowered and that you got this. But first, you have to believe in yourself. I'm going to take you on a journey. Yes, my journey, my story, because I am brave enough to be naked and to be vulnerable, because my goal is to help others get to that place where they feel empowered and they feel comfortable enough to share with the world so that they could inspire, impact, and motivate others. Or sharing your story is also a form of healing. So even if you're not brave enough to share with the world, I want you to be able to be honest with yourself. So tonight is the start. And moving forward, we'll have guests on the show who are at that place where they feel brave enough. But tonight, I think it's only fair if I start with myself, right? I am going to practice what I'm about to preach, right? I'm going to be naked. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm just going to be open. And that's okay. Like I said, my name is Marie Dunn. Currently, I'm a social worker. I work in the child welfare population. One of my biggest pleasures of my job is helping folks who are less fortunate basically work through their issues and to get to a place where they could have homeostasis, where they could find a balance and be able to move forward. Life throws us curveballs and challenges, and sometimes we don't have that support. Sometimes we don't have that know-how, and that's pretty much one of my roles. It's just like really working with people, providing various interventions and helping them arrive at a place where they could become the best versions of themselves. I am originally from Jamaica. I was born and raised in the beautiful island of Jamaica, sunny Jamaica. I'm an island girl, and this is why I'm so bright and I like bright colors, right? And I am very, 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 very hard on myself initially. I was this woman, I was so sheltered. And the adult me or the matured me recognized that it's just the way I was programmed. But now I have found my voice. I can't stop talking. I can't shut up because I know that I am fearless, I'm amazing, and nothing, and when I say nothing, nothing can stop me. I invite you all to relax yourself because I am about to be bold. It was the spring, I believe, of 2013 or possibly 2012. I don't quite remember the exact time frame. I woke up that morning. I was in grad school. I am a graduate from Fordham University. And I woke up that morning. I felt so overwhelmed. I was exhausted. I was flustered. And I had class at 9 a.m. in the morning. And I was going to the campus in Westchester. A part of me, I was just not in the mood. I just didn't feel like it. But I knew I had to go to class because this was important to me. And there I am. I'm standing in my bedroom, almost crippled. I was paralyzed with fear. I was paralyzed with just tired of being tired of the life I was living. I was in a relationship and married for altogether 12 years. Yes. And I knew that my ex-husband then, he is a wonderful person. However, I recognized that I was being stifled. And one thing that you will realize as we go through and have these conversations, it's that when you have that shift in your mind and when you crave more for yourself, and when you decide that, when you make a conscious decision that there's more to life than where you are at this point in time, folks are not always going to understand. And I think that was one of the biggest issues. And also communication, because I really didn't know how to communicate. Again, coming from the island where we are a product of our environment. I live my life through my experiences. That's how I knew how to survive. That's how I knew how to talk, how to communicate. So instead of me sitting down and coming from a place of healing, coming from a safe space, I lashed out because I'm angry. And there was the Saturday morning. My bags are packed for school, but mentally, I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess. And my ex-husband then, I think he had just came home from the club. He went out the night before. And that moment, I realized that this was it. I could not do this anymore. And quietly and calmly, I basically said to him, when I get home, I don't want you to be home anymore. I want you gone. I don't think this came as a surprise to him because, mind you, we've been having conversations and disagreements and back and forth ongoing in our marriage. But that was the defining moment for me, because I knew I had more to me, and I could no longer allow my marriage to hold me hostage. I had to heal. There was so much going on with me personally that I had to take responsibility. And how am I going to take responsibility? I had to start taking care of me. One of the biggest challenges that I had, it's being this yes person, afraid to have those difficult conversations, conversations that may not land well with my ex-husband at that point in time, because I didn't know how to really have those conversations, because I grew up, I was programmed to think that I just had to say yes, even with pain in my heart and discomfort. Yes was the only thing I knew how. I left, I went to school. I was very distracted that day in class, but it didn't matter, because I knew this was it for me. I was not going to allow the fear of the unknown, because again, coming from where I'm coming from, migrating here November 1st, 2011. I made my 10 years the other day, a decade since I've been in this country. And when I came in this country, I came with $20. You heard me right, $20. You could count from 1 to 20, and that's all I had. I took a leap of faith, because in my head, from that opportunity came up, I knew that I was willing to make something of myself. Jamaica is an amazing country. I love the sunshine. I love the food. I love the culture. I loved all that it had to offer. But there was that desire. I craved more. I wanted more. And so when I met my ex-husband, I knew nothing was going to stop me. I was going to take that leap of faith. I've always been someone that if you told me I can't do something, I liked to push the envelope and I like to explore. But it was a little bit harder for me because I did not come into myself. I was still finding my identity and trying to understand who I was as a person. And so I recognized that I needed to leave my country. So I migrated. My mom was not really happy with me. She was not happy when she found out I came back to the US because I had went home, I think it was like the summer of 2001. No, probably like the spring of 2001. Because I told my mom I was frustrated. I just could not be in this country anymore because I felt like I was being stifled. One of the biggest challenges that some folks cannot relate to, it's being in this country as an undocumented individual. Being undocumented in the US was such a difficult and traumatic time in my life. And so I had made that decision to go back home because I wanted my freedom. And it was just too much for me to be in the States. So when I met my ex-husband the night before I was going home, it was just a casual meeting in the club. And I went home and we kept talking on the phone. And I made a decision to come back, right? You know, when you have those butterflies in your stomach and everything feels right. And the young me then was like, why not? What do I really have to lose? And so I made my way back into this country. And I made my way back into this country with $20. But I had a plan. I knew I was going to improve on who I was as an individual. And I was willing to get rid of the old me. I was willing to make sacrifices because I was looking at my future. I was looking at our future. But one thing I learned, it's that you may have a desire and you may crave more, But the next person that you're with, or even folks within your circle, they may not see that. They may not have gotten to that level of maturity where they recognize that there's more to life than this. I felt I was existing and I didn't want to exist. I wanted to live my life. I wanted to explore. I wanted to experience. And I wanted to arrive at a place where I felt at peace and I felt as if I was making a difference in the lives of others that I encountered or I happened to be around. True story. In 2000 and no, in 1996, I think it was. Here I was one of the finalists for one of the covetous title in Jamaica, Miss Jamaica, Miss Sorry, yes. And yes, I was a model, and it was a warm Saturday night. I was walking, strutting my stuff across the stage, looking beautiful, feeling confident, and I knew this was it. The next thing I woke up, I was in the hospital. I don't recall how I got there, but I woke up in the hospital. Then I had, quote unquote, I had epilepsy, seizures. And I did not have my medication on me on the night when this happened. But my family got word of, what happened, and they came to the hospital the next day and they brought my medication. Unfortunately, I kept seizing. Everything they did, they could not control. The doctors could not control the attacks. They were just coming consistently over and over. I think it was like 3 days later, I am not sure, but I was transferred to the University Hospital of the West Indies in Jamaica because they recognized that they could not control, or they could not figure out what was really going on medically at the St. Bay Hospital. Yeah, I'm a country girl, at the St. Bay Hospital to assist me. So I was transported via an ambulance to Kingston, to the University Hospital. I got there and the seizures kept coming. So the doctors decided to give me Valium because I think, at this point, they needed to just figure out how to stabilize me. Unfortunately, I got an overdose of the Valium. And even now, I still get chills when I think about it. I was in a coma I was told I was comatose for like at least 2 weeks. At one point, I was on life support machine. And they literally told my parents and my family then that they were giving me 15% chance of living. So my family should go home and start making funeral arrangements because they were not sure if I would survive thereafter. As per reports by my family, the next morning, my sister came to visit. And when she went to my room, I was in ICU. When she got to my room, she noticed that the bed was empty. I was not there. And she asked, "Hey, where's my sister? What's going on?" My sister told me that she was informed that they were taking my body to the morgue. And they had literally just left. She rushed out and she intercepted the porters taking my body. And my sister said she started pleading with me. I love food. I love to eat. And she said she kept begging, and she says, "If you come back, if you wake up, I promise you, I will cook ackee and saltfish and dumplings for the rest of your life. My sister said she noticed that my fingers started twitching. And she alerted the porters, and they took my body back to my hospital room in the ICU department and notified the doctors that, you know, there's some life, there's something going on. The doctors checked me out, and the doctors basically told my family that there's no medical explanation for why this is happening. That was a humbling and another defining moment in my life. I thought that traveling, because this is where I think my body, my soul was leaving my body, and I was running. I was running so fast. I wanted to save my life. And there was this man with a dagger, and he was chasing after me. And I'm running because I knew I needed to live. And I was running. And then out of the blues, there is this bright light, and this man on a horse picked me up. I am so serious. This man picked me up. And I guess it was that moment when my hands started twitching. This is so real. I thought that was bad because that was scary. But it's coming back and having to learn to walk, learn to talk. It was like I was back to infancy stage. So it's like the roles were reversed. I was afraid to look in the mirror because I didn't like the image that came back at me. I had lost so much weight. My hair, there was like patches all over because, from all of the machines that I was hooked up to, in certain areas they had to shave so it was just such a nightmare for me. I couldn't believe that was me. Here you are, you're talking about a woman who's a model. I was in shape. I was gorgeous, always gorgeous, and a little full of myself. And to see this now, I was like, no way. But I think this is also a part of God preparing me for now. But I didn't understand. Sometimes the God I serve, because I'm a spiritual person and I'm so connected to my God, the God I serve, sometimes I love to say he's mischievous and he's mysterious. He had to humble me. He needed to teach me a lesson to recognize that no matter where you go in life, or if you think, quote unquote, that you've arrived or that's it, no. The goal is to remain humble. And I talked about being able to live in that dual space of honoring your past while recognizing where you are. But you have to be able to create a marriage. And I had lost that. I had forgotten about where I was coming from and where I was at that point. So that was a teachable moment for me, but I didn't understand. So we all have a story. We're all entitled to our past. But we have to get to the point, I had to get to the point where I realized that I needed to listen. I needed to listen. It wasn't always about me, about what I think and how I feel, but it was also about the interaction, how I responded to others, and how I was really treating myself and showing up for me. So this woman here, I am not afraid to take a risk. I know what it is to want and not have. I shared earlier that when I came into the States, I had $20. I had $20 as undocumented. I did not have a degree, but I knew it was possible and I was going to make it happen with or without the support of anyone because I was that hungry. I was that desperate to change, to create that change. And change, it starts from you, the individual. It had to start with me, not anyone else, well, not anyone around me, but it had to start with me. And so I knew I was independent because that's just how my mama raised me. Mama Bear, thank you so much. I love her to death and love her to pieces because she's just this phenomenal woman who, despite of the poverty that we grew up in, always made sure that she instilled in us that having an education and owning who you are and believing yourself, it's of paramount importance. And never forget that. And so being here with $20, being undocumented, and having very little support stand, because did I tell you that my mom, I think she was really disappointed in me. She was really disappointed in me. She didn't want to have anything to do with me then because that was the emotions. Here you are, told me you're going home because you're just tired of being here. You were tired of being tired. But then you came back to the United States to a stranger without informing her. I think she was coming from a place of hurt as well. It pained her heart. But it was important for me to share this part and this part of my journey so that folks can understand that you could achieve it. It's there for you to take it. But it's about your mentality, your mindset, how you perceive yourself and how others think of you and how and where you are heading, your path, your journey, respecting that. So today, I'm not here to tell you that everything is amazing. But one thing I'm going to tell you, that I'm at peace, that inner peace, and I'm extremely happy. And I stay and live in a place called gratitude. And I'm willing to learn. Every day, I discover something new about who I am. Every day, I learn more. Getting concrete skills to help me hone this journey called life. Because life is a journey. It's a race. It's not a marathon. You have to be in it for the long haul. And it's possible. But what are you willing to sacrifice to get to the next level of your life? And as I go along week after week, you hear more about the sacrifices that I've made, the struggles, the encounters, but I never gave up. For me, it's okay for me to fall down. But getting up, it's what's important. Because it's a part of life. Life is going to come with challenges. The mere fact that we're breathing and God decided that He's not giving up on us, we can't give up on ourselves. When I wake up in the morning, I have a whole routine that I've created for myself. Because I wanted to be able to continue to walk in my purpose and to honor who I am. So I had to set boundaries for myself. And how did I set those boundaries? So of course I'm in therapy. Therapy is so important. But my morning routine looks like, my morning typically starts like about 4:30. Some days when I'm exhausted, it may start like about 5 o'clock ish. But the first thing I do is I pray to God, and I thank Him for the gift of life. Once I pray, then I start my journal. I journal because journal helps me to reflect. Journal helps with my memory. Journaling helps me to, it's a safe space where I can share. Because one thing I've learned, you have to be mindful with who you share, because not everyone may be in your corner, and not everyone understands your journey. Because remember, this gift and this life that we have, it's individual. It's not for us all the times to share with everybody else because they may not understand. And it may be misinterpreted. And once that's misinterpreted, that could create a lot of chaos and unnecessary heartaches and disappointments for who you are. So go back to where I am, I journal. So after I write in my journals, and I keep a specific journal just for gratitude, because I write 3 things that I'm grateful for each day that I wake up. Like this morning, of course, the top of the list, it's always been thankful for life. I was thankful for hot water, and I was thankful for my brother. Those were the 3 things I was grateful for this morning. It's the simple things in life that really matters to me. Because I have arrived and I've taken the time to learn who I am, and find what makes me happy and what sparks joy in my soul, I look at life completely different. Success to me is like just being able to wake up, being able to stretch my arms, and being able to just walk around on my own. Because I was not always that privileged. And I have like affirmations, like words of affirmations and phrases all over on Post-its in my room. I go through that because I want to keep repeating like that positive self-talk and reminding myself of how beautiful I am, how amazing I am, how smart I am, how confident I am, how bold I am, and how precious I am. So I go through that. And then I'm connecting with my family because family is important. I'm just checking in. We're in a group chat, just sending out my loves and making sure that, I remind everyone that I woke up this morning and I'm here and I'm grateful and I love them. Because we take things for granted. We take each other for granted. And all of my experience have allowed me to recognize that tomorrow is not promised. Yesterday is gone. Today's now that we have. Tomorrow is maybe. So I'm not going to procrastinate and leave it for tomorrow. I'm going to show up today and I'm going to show out. So as I mentioned showing out, it's also important for me to share that I have stepped into my bold. I have stepped into this fearless woman because that's a part of me that was smothered, that was stifled for years. For years, I suffocated that side of me. So I created and I tapped into my alter ego. I'm here to introduce Toya J. She's my alter ego. And Toya J was birthed in a period in my life that was very dark. So I shared earlier that I'm a social worker. And unfortunately, I was meeting with a client. My clients, oftentimes, some of my clients, they struggle with mental health. And I totally understand. And I understand why this client did what she did. Do I agree? No, not necessarily. So it was a cold February morning. I left my house in a rush because that day I got up late for work because I was a little bit exhausted and I didn't make it to the gym. So I packed my gym bag and I'm heading out the door and I'm telling myself like I had it figured out. I'm getting off work at 5 p.m. and I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to have a good workout. God had other plans for me because my day didn't turn out as I thought it would. This client decided she was leaving with her child. And I'm like, no, not on my watch. And of course, I wasn't even really thinking at that point in time. All I knew, it's like I had to ensure that this child was safe. And there was no way I was going to allow mom to leave the building with that child. Of course, I jumped into action mode and, fear was activated. But then I think my fear at that point, I embraced it. And I was like, I got this. So luckily, I was able to take the child away from mom with the help of the assistance of my other coworkers. But unfortunately for me, when I turned my back, the client hit me in my left temple twice. I fell. I had a concussion. When I woke up, I was at St. Barnabas Hospital. Yes. I was in a collar because when the ambulance was called, of course, they wanted to, because they're not sure if anything was broken. That's how I was brought to the hospital in a stretcher with a collar, a protective collar. I was like, what's going on to myself? I'm asking. I saw my brother, my ex-husband was there, and I saw other staff members. And that was the beginning of my journey, of that dark journey. And after 2 surgeries and just going through like really depressive state in my life, I decided again that enough was enough. And that's when I decided to go seek counseling. And like I shared earlier, that I have started journaling. And somehow I gave birth to Toya J. Toya J is sexy. She's aggressive. She's provocative. She's here to take over. She's confident. She's in touch with her sensuality and her sexuality. And she is not afraid to go uncharted territories. She likes to take risks. She is the risk taker. So whenever Marie is afraid or I feel threatened or I'm unsafe, Toya kicks in. And Toya is that one that reminds me that you got this. Why are you going to be afraid? Toya has 2 books of erotic poetry. Bold, Her Liberation, and Tease. And there's also an inspirational journal. This is all from Toya J. Toya J is my alter ego, and I'm proud of her. I love her to pieces. And this may sound crazy, but I think it's like so important for us to honor those pieces of ourselves. What I want you all to walk away from today thinking, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Don't be afraid to take risk. Don't be afraid to be naked. Don't be afraid to fail. For me, it's not failure anymore. It's just life lessons. Because if I don't need to be strong, then I'm not going to know how strong I truly am. If I don't fall, I'm not going to know how to get back up. If I'm always in a place where everything is great, everything is amazing, there's nothing to worry about, I think that's going to be a little bit boring, and I don't do boring. So embrace who you are. Find self, love self. Toya is here to tell women and their lovers to explore, to give you all permission to explore your deep, intimate self. Because when you understand and you're in touch with who you are, it makes a lot of a difference. Maya Angelou, I love her to death. She's one of my inspiration. I look to her because she has a powerful story as well. And Maya Angelou, she basically said, you have to teach people how to treat you. But if you don't know how to treat yourself, then how are you going to be able to teach others how to treat you? And this is why I'm telling you, find yourself, love self. Self-care is not selfish. And be willing to make sacrifices. Be willing for folks to misunderstand who you are, for folks to judge you, because folks are probably judging me, but that's okay. And I'm okay with that because I don't seek validation from anyone but me and my God. Because at the end of the day, I have to be able to live with my consequences, my choices, my decision. And once I'm okay with that, that's okay. We live in a world that's so judgmental, and we're quick to say, sometimes we're so quick to say, what's going on with her? Instead of trying to say, what really happened? What really happened? It's about the way we talk and the way we treat each other. So I will continue to be bold. I will continue to take others along with me who are willing to share their story so that you could all understand that it's all possible. But you have to be an active participant. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on your dreams. Live your life audaciously and loud. You have one life to live. You don't get do-overs. You don't. So what is it going to be? So before I go, I love quotes. I love quotes. So Oprah Winfrey, I adore her. She's another Black woman, a strong Black woman that I look up to. You have to know what sparks the light in you so that you, in your own way, can illuminate the world. I am light. You are light. Find that light. Find what gives you joy. Embrace your bold. Because we're all bold. We just need that platform, or we need to take someone to help take us out of that comfort zone so we could jump into the unknown, the uncomfortable. But it's okay. I'm looking forward to having more conversations and to sharing my bold story and to help others to share their stories as well so that we could continue to impact and inspire. Have an amazing rest of the night and evening on purpose. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to this bold journey. Have a great night.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.